I know you didn't ask for my opinion, but we've all heard that line before, and rarely does it mean you actually plan on listening to anything this person's about to tell you. Hi, I'm Rebecca Llewellyn. I'll be talking about incompetent communication when it comes to administering unwanted advice. Whenever administering advice, it's important to know your audience and not to appear as a know-it-all or as if the recipient of the advice is dumb. These faux pas are easily relatable to the relationship between my mother and I. Throughout my presentation, I'll be discussing my research article and its findings, the communication concepts it applies to, and how this information is applicable to a real-life relationship. In the article by Alexi Hayes and Sandra Metz entitled Support, Closeness, and Influence Tactics as Predictors of Acceptance of Unsolicited Parental Advice Regarding a Romantic Relationship During Emerging Adulthood, a study was conducted to gauge the most effective and ineffective ways parents give us unsolicited advice and how to best make the advice stick with the recipients or the emerging adults. Emerging adults are categorized as children between the ages of 18 and 25. Common tactics used by adults are power assertion and induction. Power assertion involves the adult using their superior intellect and knowledge of previous life experiences to administer the advice, while induction involves the adults using a step-by-step line of reasoning on why their current behavior is wrong. The research article uses its experiments and results to help achieve competent communication in relationships. Competent communication is indicated by effective, appropriate, adaptive, and involved tactics. The research article puts forward 3 different hypotheses. 1, that power assertion will be a negative indicator of accepting unsolicited advice. 2, that induction reasoning will increase the likelihood that emerging adults will accept the advice. And 3, that pre-existing support and closeness in the relationship will be a positive indicator of accepting the advice. After the research was conducted, it was concluded that pre-existing closeness in the relationship was a positive indicator that the advice was accepted by the emerging adult. While, on the other hand, using power assertion as a tactic to put forward your ideas was a negative indicator but did not reach statistical significance. And then additionally, using induction as a form of reasoning with the emerging adult proved to be a negative indicator of the adult accepting the advice. Whenever my mom and I get in an argument over unwanted advice or really anything, her first line of defense is, "I'm older, wiser, and surprisingly I have more life experience than you." While this definitely is true, it's hard to be accepting of advice when the person who's administering it to you makes you feel belittled and a little silly. In conclusion, it's important to remember when giving advice to be humble throughout the whole process and to stay on the other person's level. Using tactics or words which make you appear larger or better or more knowledgeable than the recipient of the advice will completely diminish any chance of the recipient taking what you have to heart. Next time, instead of starting off with, "I know you didn't ask for my opinion, but," start off with something more like, "So how is whatever going?" That way you're immediately starting on the person's level and asking them for assistance instead of immediately throwing on your ideas on them.